friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jim with Philly Fixed. I'm so glad you're here. I've got the new Makita XGT tools in front of me. I've got their top-of-the-line hammer drill driver, as well as the top-of-the-line impact driver, and I have their LXT equivalents as well. So I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive into these two XGT tools. Of course, there's, I believe, 50 tools coming out initially in the US with this XGT line, so there's a lot more to explore, but I thought we'd start with our bread and butter, our hammer drill and impact driver, and look at the features, compare them to the LXT line, and hopefully give you guys a good idea of if these are a couple tools that you might want to pick up. If you're on the LXT line, is it worth the upgrade? Or if you're on another manufacturer's battery platform completely, is it worth jumping to 40 volts? So let's take a closer look. Okay, so first let's talk about the impact driver and the various modes that are available. Basically, you've got this button right here, which is the hammer with a screw symbol. This allows you to switch from speeds 1 through 4 as far as standard impact driver mode. On the lowest setting, it gives you up to 1100 blows per minute. And on the highest setting, it goes up to 4400 blows per minute. Now on the other side is this assist mode, and this gives you different specialty modes to use on different types of applications. So when you hit the assist button, the blue light turns on, and that tells you that you should read the green LEDs according to the blue strip down here, not according to the black strip, which is just your speed for the standard impact mode. Camera's focusing on the wrong thing here. This is a little tough. So once you're in the blue mode here, mode number 1 is wood mode, and according to the manual, it's good for tightening long screws. It helps prevent a screw from falling at the beginning of driving. It drives with low speed rotation at first, and then after the screw starts to impact, or the tool starts to impact, the rotation speed increases and reaches the maximum speed. So we have it on wood mode, and as soon as you hit this other button, it takes it back out of those assist modes. So let's put it back on wood mode, and let's see how that works. So I have a 3-inch Spax general construction screw. I've got a 4x4 underneath here, but this is an MDF windowsill piece I had left over from a project. Let's just see how this behaves in this wood mode. I really hate Phillips head screws. They always seem to slip. Let's try this again. See if I can't do a little bit better job. See, that didn't really start to impact till we got to the very end. Let's try wood mode one more time here. Okay, so moving on, we've got two modes that are referred to as T mode, numbers 2 and 3 here. The first one is for self-tapping screws in thin metal, and the second one is for self-tapping screws in thicker metal. Now, it doesn't necessarily say in the manual what constitutes thin or thick metal, but I would assume things like metal studs would be thin and flashing and things like that, but I don't do a lot of metal work, so leave me some comments below if you have a tool like this, maybe the XGT16, and how you use these different modes. But those are your two T modes, and then once you get the 2 on the end lit up, you can see in the blue here that there's a bolt down there. That's what this green light indicates here. And then you've got bolt modes 1, 2, and 3. All right? So in mode 1, the tool stops automatically when tightening as soon as the impact starts. So it gets it most of the way there, and then just when it starts hammering or impacting, it stops tightening. In that mode, when you're turning it counterclockwise, it stops or slows down when the bolt becomes loose and it senses that the torque is decreased. So let's try bolt mode 1 and see how that works. So I don't have any good setup just yet where I can test metal on metal bolts like lug nuts or something, but what I can do is drive this lag screw into the wood. I drove it in just a little bit to make sure that the first little bit it doesn't necessarily have to impact to get it in. So once it gets past that, we'll see what happens. Okay, so my finger is still on the trigger, and it stopped as soon as it started hammering. See that? Let's see what happens when I go to loosen it. Again, it stops. Again, my finger's still on the trigger. So that's bolt mode 1. Let's see what bolt mode 2 is. I think bolt mode 2, it says it gives it 0.3 seconds before it gives up. So let's see how that goes here. Well, that didn't work. You know why? This is one of my 4x4s that I drilled lots of holes in for one of my tests. So I must have hit one of the holes. Let's try that again. See, it gives you a little bit longer on that. So even though this is for bolts, I could see where if you wanted to avoid overdriving a lag screw or even a regular screw, it might come in handy. Okay, so let's try bolt mode 1 on a screw, on a regular Phillips head screw. So it stopped just proud of the MDF there. Let me try bolt mode 2 on a Phillips head screw and see how that goes. I have a feeling it's going to countersink it just a little bit. Now actually, that sunk it almost all the way through the wood. So bolt mode 2 is a little too aggressive for MDF. Again, you're probably going to use a drill driver with a clutch for this type of work. You're not going to use an impact driver, but it's interesting to see what it can do. So let's go back to this lag screw here. Bolt mode 2, let's see what it does when I try to back it out. See, now it stopped as soon as it got to the surface, which is kind of cool. Let's drive it in bolt mode 2. So that's bolt mode 2. Let's try bolt mode 3 on a screw. Again, a 3-inch construction screw. Bolt mode 3. My bit sunk all the way through the MDF on that one. So bolt mode 3 is pretty aggressive compared to 1 and 2. So those are your different modes on the impact driver. So I've got the LXT 18 volt right here, and I've got the XGT over here. And they're similar, but you can see on the LXT, you've actually got dedicated T mode LEDs here. You've got a dedicated wood mode LED, and you've got a dedicated bolt mode LED. And then these 4 other LEDs indicate the various levels on each of those. So you've got T mode 1 is on, T mode 2 is on, wood mode is on, and bolt mode is on. And then you've got your 4 impact levels there. So it's like they were trying to save LEDs on this tool because they just have this one blue LED that indicates, hey guys, you know, the green LEDs mean something different when the blue's on than when it's not. So I don't know, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the LXT control panel over this one, but you know, they both work, and once you know how to use the tool, I think it'll serve you well. The nice thing about both of these is it doesn't require a stupid app on your phone and a Bluetooth connection to make it work. That absolutely drives me nuts. I don't want to be pulling my smartphone out just to use my tools. And I'm not a contractor. I'm sure contractors might even feel more strongly about that. This also has a programmable quick mode button on the front. And you're going to have to read the manual. I'm not going to go through how to program that quick mode button, but that lets you switch through pre-programmed modes, kind of like, you know, anyone who actually still listens to a car radio, your presets on a car radio when you hit seek or whatever. But that is the new XGT impact driver. Okay, so let's talk about the drill for a minute. You've got your standard 2-speed gearbox here. Nothing too special there, but what you'll notice is you're missing a clutch ring on the body of the drill here, and that's because your clutch settings are actually down below. So you'll see that when you switch the mode to screw, your red LED comes on, and once you push this button, it lets you set 42 different clutch settings with this little knob here. So that's kind of interesting. It's a digital clutch setting rather than a mechanical knob up top here. So we're going to try some different settings. I think we're going to try all 42 settings and see what the differences are. I'm just kidding. You guys didn't really think I was going to put you through 42 settings, did you? Come on. Okay, so I've got it on speed setting 5. Let's see how it does with these small kind of wood screws that you might use to put things like door hardware on. And this is an MDF board here. So that actually didn't give it enough resistance to stop. It just kind of started turning the screw in the MDF. So let's try setting 2 instead of 5. And let's see if it kicks in at all here. Okay, so the screw is just proud of the MDF in that case. Let's try clutch setting 3. Yeah, that was a little too much. But these threads don't put much resistance on the drill, so I'm not surprised. Let's try drywall screws on clutch setting 3 here, and let's see what happens. That's not too bad. It's a little proud of the board, but stopped in a good spot. Let's try clutch setting 8. See, now there again, it just kept spinning. Let's try clutch setting 6. These are, by the way, drywall screws, but what length are they? These are 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. Okay, this is clutch setting 6. That's still not quite enough to kick in. Now these are poking out the bottom here. I'm not going into the 4x4. Let me go a little further back and go into the 4x4. We'll see what happens on clutch setting 6. Nope, still not kicking in. Let's try a bigger screw. We got a 3-inch Spax screw here. And we'll try to go somewhere where we're going to hit wood underneath. Still on clutch setting 6. Speed 1, by the way. Now there, it sunk it a little bit. Again, MDF's pretty soft though. Clutch setting 4. Let's see how it does on clutch setting 4. It looks like 5 is going to be the sweet spot, because that was just a little above the surface. All right, 5 is pretty good. It could use just a little, just like that. That's exactly where I would want it if I was driving a screw like this. So it might seem ridiculous that you've got 42 clutch settings on here, but you can see that the difference between 4, 5, and 6 was enough to make a difference in something like MDF. Would you use a drill like this to do precision work? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it's kind of cool that it gives you these options. Now, as far as drilling speed, you're going to see this drill in the upcoming 2021 drill challenge. So stay tuned for that. We're going to put this up against major competitors and test pure speed on drilling and fastening. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a look at this interesting electronic clutch setting, which is a first that I've seen. Maybe there's another product out there that has it, but it's new on me. All right, well, just a few other thoughts about this Makita XGT line. First of all, these tools right here are not really the reason Makita came out with the line. Makita is really targeting those super high power tools so that general contractors that do things like concrete, masonry, heavy demolition can have a completely cordless job site. Things like rotary hammers, breaker hammers, things that we would typically have gas powered or corded electric. They're targeting those tools by using two of these batteries and making an 80-volt tool. So, you know, the hammer drill and the impact driver, 7¼ inch circular saw, things that you could easily do with a 18 or 24-volt battery, they're in this line so that contractors don't have to maintain two separate battery lines to have a complete outfit of tools. So they can have their more high-power tools with 80 volts, but they can also use those same batteries on things like drills and impact drivers. You know, as a DIYer, as a homeowner, even as a light to medium duty contractor, do you need these tools? Do you need this line of batteries? Probably not. The LXT line, if you're a Makita fan, would probably serve you just fine. Makita claims that they're going to keep the LXT line around, that it's not going anywhere. It has been out since 2005, so it is getting a little long in the tooth. Me personally, I'd like to see Makita come out with some high output batteries in the LXT line using more advanced high current cells, but they'd also have to design the tools to be able to use and take advantage of that technology. So, you know, we'll see where that goes with the LXT line. But if you have to have the best of the best, or you like the idea of buying into a newer platform, the LXT line's been around since 2005, then you can certainly purchase these tools. They've already got 50 of them available, so it's not like they're starting with a really narrow selection. They came out of the gate with lots of tools available. They had the advantage of rolling these out internationally first, and they're finally coming to the US. So, hey, if you found this video helpful, enjoyable, informative, please hit that like button. If you want to know when my impact driver, Deep Impact Round 2 is coming out, including this guy, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you know as soon as it's posted. I have some hammer drill competitions coming out, including this guy right here. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless.
Hello, I'm Jim Davis.